point those at me.
How has Nick grown over the years since you first got here?
Well, Nick's pretty amazing. Nick is, to me, is a 1 in a million, and he was from the day I first really saw him and first started to coach him. I've never, ever been around a better competitor or a guy that wanted to win as bad, nor anyone that ever affected winning more in all the years that I've coached. So he had a lot of those qualities already that either in his DNA or he was taught or whatever. But since he's come here, he's just, he really, to me, went from a young man to a man. He's really grown up in so many ways. Like anyone, you play a college career, you know a lot more basketball for sure, but I just think he gets a big picture a lot better, and he's become so much more mature, and he's just become incredible, really.
Do you remember specifically when you first met him, first saw him? I'm sure it was probably when you were recruiting him in high school. And you remember what you thought then?
Well, I thought that he was very good, and I was very excited about him, and I knew that he would, in my heart, I felt like he would be a guy that would come in and as a freshman have a big impact, which he obviously did. I'd be lying though. I wish I could tell you that I knew the first time I watched him that he would be as good as he is. He surprised me his freshman year. In our first game, he surprised me. I started to see the things of his will to win and his fight, and when the game was late, how badly he wanted the ball, and all those kind of things that are really unusual for a freshman. So he exceeded what I thought from day one, and then of course you guys have been watching the last 3 years here of him playing. You didn't get to watch his freshman year, but just to watch him get better and more confident, and have any of you ever seen a guy? I have never. I think I've probably coached 25 or 30 NBA players, something like that, and with great respect to all of them, I've never seen any of them in college impact the last 4 or 5 minutes more often than he does. I've never seen anything like it. He's one in a trillion. I've never seen a guy that will refuse to lose and is going to do whatever it takes, particularly late in the game. Nick's the best I've ever seen that way.
Was there ever a point when he stopped surprising you, where you came to expect that kind of performance?
Yeah, there was somewhere in the middle where we all started to expect it, but also kept thinking, there's going to be one of these, the odds. I mean, there's one of these nights. Surely he's just not going to have it, and he just. I mean, it's incredible. I've yet to see that one. He was limping around the other day, could barely run, and he still managed to find a way to hit the big shot and make a big play, and he could barely even run. So he's gone past what I could ever imagine. Greatest competitor I've ever coached.
What do you think the future holds for him?
I hope what he deserves. I hope he gets what he deserves. I love basketball. There's a million great things about it, a million great things I could say, but one of the things that's tough about the sport is you can be the greatest player. Nick is a tremendous basketball player, and he deserves to be in the NBA. I mean, he's one of the great basketball players in our country. He is. But how much is it important to be 6 foot or 6'6" or 6'8" or 6'10"? We'll see. But for me, he without question deserves to be an NBA player, and if given the chance, not everyone knows his heart, but we know his heart, and the competitor that he is, he'll find a way to succeed. He will.
What are your emotions like going into his final home game?
Terrible. Honestly, it's always really hard when the seniors. It's a very it's a very difficult period because you just really grow to love your players, and the longer you're around them, and you know, you spend a lot of your life with them and go through so many things, so it's always very difficult. But if you think about, for me, you know, I left, how many times do you see this happen where the head coach leaves and then a player follows him? So can you imagine what he means to me? Because I don't know if I've ever seen that, honestly. And for him to have that kind of a loyalty, he will always have a special place in my heart. I mean, I feel like he's part of our family as it is. So that really has affected me. So I've also been with him for 5 years. That's a long time, and honestly, I can't even imagine. You know, it's been so long. I'm so used to having him around and knowing he's always going to find a way to win the game that can't even imagine next year not having him here. So hopefully we'll be watching him on TV, but it's going to be hard for all of us. But I can tell you for sure, it's definitely hard for me.
Time for one or two more.
You said he deserves the chance to play in the NBA. What kind of feedback have you gotten? Do you think he will get the chance
Oh
to
yeah,
play in the
I
NBA?
think he'll get, and whether that's, you know, no one knows what the draft choices are yet, and those guys play it pretty close to the vest. They're smart, but yes, he'll get. I think he'll definitely get an opportunity. There's a lot of people that are, I think, excited about him. I don't know exactly whether the opportunity will be a perfect one or not. Could be, but I think I'll be surprised if he doesn't. I really do. I think enough people have paid attention to see that, you know, guys like him don't come around every day.
Marcus referred to him as a coach on the floor last week. Do you think he could be a coach one day?
Oh, he'll be a great coach. Be a great coach one day. You know, what could be better than a great competitor that also has a tremendously high basketball IQ, and obviously he's going to have, you know, he's had a great education, but at the same time I don't think it's, you know, he's going to get a lot more education in basketball. I think he'll be an amazing coach one day, without question. His biggest frustration, without doubt, will be that not everyone on his team wants to win as bad as he does, so he'll have to deal with that, which a lot of coaches do at times, but he'll be terrific.
In all the time that you've been with him here, the 5 years, or even back to when you were recruiting him, is there a moment or remember even a conversation that you guys had that really sticks out to you?
Well, for me, I guess it's the one where he, you know, when I found out he wanted to come, you know, that, because I don't want to make this about me, but personally it was so difficult for me to leave a head coaching position, to leave a bunch of kids that I loved, and I was really struggling with that emotionally, and then for him, you know, later on, whatever it was, weeks, months, whatever it was later, to reach out and say, hey, I would really, you know, I want to come where you go, that meant the world to me. So for me, I would say that was it.
Steve Westbrook.
Can you compare the conversations, one when he said he wanted to play for you coming out of high school, and then when he said he wanted to follow you to SMU? Was there a difference in those conversations?
That's a good, hard question. Maybe a little bit, because I think I was a little bit more surprised by the, you know, like I say, you don't see guys follow somebody very often. Whereas in the recruiting, we felt like we had a good chance, and we've been working hard. And not that we were expecting it, but it was kind of building towards that, and we could feel it. But the other one was completely unexpected, so I guess that would be the big difference there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.